But I loved one of my favorite things about this was the script. I love that line when he says, "You can't do this. This is England," and he says, "This is Bradford." Such a good line.
Second person to say that. That's so awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of emblematic of what is just a really kind of strong script. I just wondered if you could both sort of start by telling me what those kind of first reactions were when you first read through it, and what made you both go, "Do you know what? This has got to be one for me."
Ladies first, please, Ash.
I think for me, it was just really exciting to have these characters. Like, I love the fact that it's predominantly South Asian cast, and we touch on a lot of cultural stuff, but also these characters just live in this heightened, entertaining world, like you said. And I think that's rare that we see that. And this script just hops from like one thing to the next. We start in a family drama, we go to gangsters, and then we go to sort of this heightened horror sort of esque thing. And that to me was really exciting. And I thought, if we can pull this off, that's really ambitious.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Aisha. I mean, what drew me was the complexity of the character. You know, going beyond what Aisha said, getting to represent South Asian culture in a way that goes beyond the cliches and the stereotypes. I think that's how we really level the playing field, make the stories about the human aspects of Asian culture and of Asian people, not just about the culture itself. And it's wonderful to delve into the culture and represent it, but then go further. But personally, it was, taking on something of this magnitude. As an actor, we dream of something like this, but it's also massively daunting. How do you honor a culture? How do you understand a subculture? How do you convincingly conjure up all these worlds and watch them collide? But it was an absolute pleasure, and I couldn't have done it without my scene partner and co-lead Aish and Amit being very giving and letting us kind of embed our own personal aspects or have the open conversation of how we tell his story with as much veracity and honesty as possible. And thank Bradford as well. As soon as I got into Bradford and spent some time there, it's infectious, and you get a real understanding of why it works, and the pride for being Bradfordian and being part of this community. And then you just give it everything you've got and hope it sticks.
Yeah, I mean, I was proper gripped from the opening scene on the kind of train tracks. It got me thinking, this is a bit of a side thing, Staz, but I've always wanted to ask an actor this, but what's it like shooting a proper chase scene on foot?
Absolutely exhausting.
Yeah, because I've been on sets and there's multiple takes from multiple angles. I mean, it must be so tiring to do that.
And we also did some of these shots as one shot. So that moment when I'm going through the actual mall, we cut into it after a while to save time, but I shot that as a 1 minute 20 sprint. Just to give you clarity, by the end of it, my wife and the director were watching, and we did about 3 hours of this. As they're walking in, I'm projectile vomiting while the guy I was chasing is rubbing my back. And but these are spoils of war. There's something masochistic maybe in me, but getting to push yourself to that extent is a real thrill. And also, without trying to sound like a thespian, Harry would do it till he threw up. You know what I mean? There's nothing more important than saving the kid and saving his city. So it felt in theme with the character itself.
Yeah, because I mean the show. I mean it's got some really nice balancing of tonalities, but it is pretty brutal. I mean, the story can be quite harsh, and some scenes are pretty kind of out there. It takes no prisoners, this show. When dealing with a story like that, how are things kind of kept light on set for both of you? Is there a kind of extra effort required to ensure there is some kind of levity and light relief during a shoot of this nature?
Yeah. For me, it was walking onto the makeup shop and seeing Staz singing Backstreet Boys pretty much every time we were in together, which starts the day off very nicely before you're about to just do all the dramatic stuff.
I second that. The moments before are very important, you know what I mean? And getting on the hair and makeup truck with Frida and the girls was wonderful fun. There was a lot of 90s kids, so there was a lot of 90s, 2000s music. And I think something about it is knowing when it's time to be light and knowing when it's time to dive in and get focused. I think when I'm on set and I'm trying to access these kind of severe feelings or situations, there's no levity necessary. I need to stay in it, until we're done with it. And then when I'm done, I can laugh and cry and whatever I need to do. But I think it's finding that balance, finding the moments before and after to really relax and take stock of it all, and then zero in when it's happening.
Well, from an audience perspective, some of the kind of lighter scenes can be when you two are just having a kind of nice chat and conversation. I love that conversation you guys are having. I'm sticking mostly to questions about episode 1 because I don't want to get into kind of spoiler territory. But when you guys are talking about kind of Bollywood cinema and how the couple scenario would kind of play out in that kind of form, obviously, you know, you guys have mentioned the kind of importance of representing kind of the kind of South Asian, British Asian community. How important is it to have those kind of cultural references injected into the story as well, and really kind of positive kind of portrayals at the same time?
Yeah, I think it's lovely. I think what Amit did is just have a really light touch on it and not overplay it, because these characters are just existing in their own worlds. So it's just nice that we see those little moments, but it doesn't become the overriding thing of the whole show, because it's about so much more than that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about rooting them in their identity and what are, and culturally speaking, what these cultures come with in terms of, you know, loyalty, community, compassion, whatever the themes are of these cultures. And then, as Aisha said, going beyond that and going into the story of them as husband and wife, as far, you know, as fathers, as mothers. And that's a really cool way of actually leveling the playing field, as we said earlier, is telling the stories from a human perspective, accessing the things that we can all relate to: love, loyalty, etc.
And my penultimate question was, I mean, you guys have a great chemistry. I love those kind of scenes together. Did you know each other beforehand? And if not, did you have to kind of do read-throughs and rehearsals to kind of help build up that trust?
Do you know what? I you know, the chemistry read, I think, was very important for both of us, because it's important to be able to trust each other and also believe each other. And I think what I got from our chemistry read, I was like, okay, this person takes this seriously. She's not trying to cut corners or find tricks of the trade to really be there and be present and listen. And I think we were just lucky. I think, you know, because we didn't know each other a long time. We were like, okay, cool. You take this seriously. We're going to do this. We're going to have fun. And, you know, I have to credit Aisha for her, you know, her courage and having the open discussions and really making sure she stood up for her character, because that's important. And it gave me kind of the push to do that too, and really, really honor this character.
Yeah. And for me, it was, Staz and I initially had a lot of conversations about Simon and Harry being a team, and kind of want that as actors as well. And I felt right from the start that Staz was a complete team player. Like, he knows everybody's name on the set. He's always comes in with the best energy, and he's just an absolute joy to work with. And I think it just made it so easy to work opposite. It was a complete delight.
And just very finally then, because I interviewed Martin Clunes yesterday, and I found it great to hear, because he had a brand new ITV drama series starting at the weekend, and he's even after all these years, he still settles down and watches it when it launches on kind of opening night. I just wondered if you guys have got kind of plans for the first episode launch. You're gonna have that family round, the takeaway, or do you not want to watch it? I know every actor has their own relationship with their work.
Well, you go first, Ash.
Well, my mum always does. She usually does a little party and she loves to invite the cast round and have them round to watch it. But we're actually away. So, well, if it comes out when it's supposed to come out, we actually might be away. So there's no party this time. It's sad.
Yeah, on my side of things, you know, up until I don't, not all acts are the same, but I didn't really enjoy watching myself for a very long time, and I still, it's touch and go. But I have been fortunate enough to obviously watch this, and it's nice to feel pride in your work, you know, and that seldom comes, at least in my case. You know, the imposter syndrome starts flaring up, and then all of a sudden I second guess everything. So this has been a really wonderful, I guess, change in this production. And absolutely, I've already watched it, but I'll be watching it on the day. I'll be like, imagine I'm a British spectator, and I'll sit down with the wife and the dog and get the family over and watch it 100%.
Yeah, well, I'll be tuning in again with the wife and the dog when it starts. I'm just a good old-fashioned, hard-boiled anti-hero protagonist defining us to take that down the bad guys. Doesn't get better than that. I love it.
And you know, to get to have the BBC do this kind of slightly elevated Gotham-esque, getting Zimmer on the score. We haven't done this before, and what a wonderful way to showcase Bradford, its culture, and the South Asian community. So I'm really glad you enjoyed it. And what dog do you have out of interest? What dog?
Labradoodle.
Oh, I have a miniature one. I have a Maltipoo, so he's like the tiny minuscule version of yours. Yeah, I love it.
It's funny. I spent most of my interview with Martin Clunes talking about my dog yesterday as well. It's obviously my.
When you're a dog person, it just comes. It's a natural way to break the ice as well. You should have started with a dog.
I know. I should have just held her up. Really,
held the whole time.
I'm so
Exactly.
sorry.
Well, next time, maybe for season 2.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Much
you for your time,
appreciated.
mate.
Cool. Take care.
God
See you
bless.
later.
Bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!